Welcome to the Foul Out Podcast. We got a few things on the docket today. Shannon Sharpe, tsunamis hitting Hawaii and Cali. WNBA players want more pay. Right now we got Jalen on the cam, my brother Arkeem, and myself. And we're going to just jump straight into it with the first topic. Shannon
Let's get it.
Sharpe fired from ESPN after settling with what was her name? Gabby, the OnlyFans girl. Settled
Right.
with her, and now ESPN has severed ties. What y'all think? Y'all think he should have settled?
No. And Shannon Sharpe, I don't know, like you one of my heroes in this media stuff. You my favorite personality, but I'm gonna just be real with your boss. I don't know if that makes you guilty, but it sure make you look guilty. You supposed to say, I ain't giving you one red cent. I ain't giving you shit. That's how it's supposed to be. All right. And you turning your money over. Look, they say he had a $100 million deal on the table, and he wanted to just go ahead and give her this little 5-10 million or whatever to not let that get in the way of a $100 million deal because it's on hold until he, clear up his reputation. But now you've lost your job at ESPN.
Yeah, who the hundred
You
million with?
huh?
Who was the $100 million with?
Oh, the $100 million deal is with Colin Coward. You remember the show that used to
The
come on
Volume. That's the
after?
Mm-hmm.
name of his network.
Yeah, the
Yeah, with
Volume
the little
Network.
glass.
Colin Coward, yeah, he has a network, and it comes out like the word Colin was wrong. Yeah, that dude, the show that nobody watches. Well, yeah, that guy has a company that can give you $100 million for a podcast deal, and that's what Shannon is gunning for. And pretty crazy, pretty crazy. But Shannon, you shouldn't have gave her nothing. You should have took it to trial. Word to Mr. Biggs, Diamond I take this shit to trial, bitch. Take this shit to trial. But
Agreed.
I mean, nowadays you used to have to marry him for him to get your money. Nowadays, they can get your money just by dating them a little bit. uh, what would you think though? Him Do you think him doing that, giving her the money and settling, does that make him look guilty?
I think so. I was kind of saying it from the beginning, like, if you ain't fighting tooth and nail to protect your reputation, protect everything you got in a situation like this, man, you done did a little something. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially $50 million? Like, bro, something don't smell right. Some smell fishy in there. And then, I mean,
Well,
to do it, yeah, go ahead.
I feel like he low key is just trying to preserve like what's left of his reputation. So what I mean by that is, well, imagine if Diddy's case wasn't criminal, like the one that New York State filed against him. Imagine if it was civil and he just could have paid $50 million, you know what I'm saying, to settle it. All of the no Diddy stuff and all of the investigation, the baby oil and the freak offs and all that stuff would have never surfaced and hit the net. You know what I'm saying? His personal life like that would have never got blasted to the net. We just would have been like, dang, Cassie hit him for 30 and then he had to pay 50 to get rid of this case.
Mhm.
But his reputation would have been spared what was left of it. You know what I'm saying? Shannon Sharpe, he still do Nightcap. He still do Club Shay Shay. He just dropped an episode with his brother Sterling Sharpe like a minute ago. But see, if he would have took it to trial, it would have been all the dirty laundry is out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and who knows what he might not want the public to know about that he do behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I can
is that
definitely see
worth
that.
20 million? Probably so.
I can see
And
that,
then
but
reports come out Shannon Sharpe has not made payments yet.
yo,
Yo,
Yo, what's
Sha-
up,
They're talking
fellas?
about Shannon
what's
Sharpe
up, man?
settling his case, man.
First smartest thing for him to do. If you ask me.
He done got fired by ESPN.
I mean, that was kind of a given. I'm just saying. We all knew that was going to happen. They were just waiting. It always happens. Whoever ends up on the chopping block, they got to be politically correct and let them prove that they did something wrong, and then they let them go. That always happens. Same thing happened to Jonathan Majors, which is why Marvel got some making up to do, in my opinion. But that's a topic for later on. We can talk about that later. But y'all look a little dry, man. What's going on?
Or we
Nah,
not?
go
No,
ahead
we
and talk
listening to
about
you.
Jonathan Majors. I wanted to hear what you was gonna say about it.
Yeah, I like the storyline they were building with Jonathan Majors, man. I felt like that was a superior I won't say superior. It was a nice transition from the arc that they had with Thanos. And then they brought in Jonathan Majors. He had a lot of charisma, the energy, the acting, the characterization that he was creating for Kane was Steph's kiss, man. It was perfect. And then it just got ripped away. I was excited. I wanted to see the Council of Kanes when they had all them
Well,
show
I
up.
was more so talking about the you said what they always do, like like they fire somebody then or whatever. I didn't really catch.
Oh yeah, the political correctness of it. Yeah. What is there to really know besides they just want to make sure that people think that they did the right thing. But
that's still another
on the
example of what's happening with this Shannon Sharp thing. And I mean, when you are an affluent male, you know what I mean, you rich, you famous, bro, you gotta move a little bit different, man. And it's just like normal people don't get into some of these situations that y'all get into. Who people who have much less to lose, you know what I'm saying? So for y'all to get put into these situations and be bamboozled the way y'all getting bamboozled is just insane, you know. Especially in a case like Shannon Sharp, man. You dealing with this young female, you know she on some OnlyFans type stuff. You know she on some hot girl stuff. And it's just like, bro, you couldn't find nobody else. Like you couldn't go nowhere else with somebody find somebody who had a little bit more to lose, who was a little bit closer to the level that you on. It's just crazy. It's just hard for me to find sympathy for these guys when they put themselves in these situations, man. You don't work
Yeah,
so hard to get to this level and you just jeopardize it like that. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Now I'm right there with you, Jay. I feel like I've said this so many times. That's like a broken record at this point. But you have to put yourself at a high, when you're in a higher pedestal, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard. Like you just have to. Like, and then
Y'all,
especially because you got people below you looking up at you and seeing this who I want to be like. You,
In the
we got a
words of my king, you
responsibility.
ain't caught her, you bought her.
all right.
But what does that prove though? That's not
Wait a
good
minute.
for society.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You put the glasses on. What this-
I just put them on. These are my introspective, safe brother glasses. Okay. Now, what you're saying about Brother Sharp is
Malcolm
incorrect.
X.
Black, wait, whenever we say, oh man, um, they elite, they think they're elite to us, or rich people think that they're better than us. We get mad at them. But right now, you giving him instructions to act like he's better than the common man.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Y'all
I'm telling
always
him
tell somebody,
I'm asking
humble
him.
yourself. You humble yourself. You know better. You put your pants legs on one leg at a time. You know better than nobody. But what you just said, you just gave him instructions to act like he's better than the everyday man. You said,
Also,
hey, it's a certain way you gotta act. It's a certain way. We could roll the tape back. You said that's what you just said. All right. So when you
conduct though. Conduct. I'm not saying you need to act out a character. And I'm not saying that you need to um um I have this much money, therefore I can't do those things. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm saying don't beat your wife just because you got a bunch of money. I'm saying don't go cheat on your wife just because you got a bunch of money. That's what I'm saying. Those are universally wrong things. Common sense is not something too much to ask for.
Shannon Sharpe is a bachelor. He not doing nothing that somebody else it would be doing. Old men go after young girls all the time. I don't know why everybody is acting like they don't know this. We see old men, and you hear these girls these days talking about they trick. I'm gonna go after your daddy. Why does everybody try to act like things are so foreign when you put it in your face? Stop the faking, stop the malarkey. Old men with money like young girls. That's just what it is. That's
with
how
or
it's
without
always.
money.
Yeah, with or without money, except the boys who got the money is the ones who could actually get them. This girl trapped Shannon and she bust his head. He fell into a trap that he couldn't get out of. But let's not act like these dudes ain't getting these young girls, bro. Whenever you see a billionaire or like you, they ain't gonna be on the yacht with the money. If you ever watch some of those people say, wow, look at that yacht going across, and it's a billionaire on that yacht or a guy with a bunch of money on that yacht, it ain't no 45-year-old women on that yacht with him. It's young girls on that yacht with that man. You ever see the mafia bosses in Italy and stuff? Them dudes ain't got no 40-year-olds with them. They
It's the
got young
way he
girls with them, bro.
moves,
That's
though.
what they do.
Shannon
That's what
essentially
they.
was like he was damn near cuffing this girl, and that's what
You
you
just
don't
trying
do.
to shake your finger at that man. That's what you trying to do.
That's not a shaking your finger. That's if you gonna do that lifestyle, you gonna do that type of lifestyle, then you got to move in a certain way as well. You can't be trying to cuff an OnlyFans chick, dog. Like that just goes against all the player rules. That don't even make sense.
The player, what
Well,
player
what
rules?
make you think that he was trying to cuff her though?
But conversations that they were having, all this texting back and forth and stuff like that, like if she a swoop, she a swoop. You know, you ain't gonna be doing all that he and ha
But
ha with.
I feel like from what I saw, it was just like that was like the main person that he had going. I didn't get
It,
cuff vibes. I just felt like
Tells
exactly.
them.
Like treat
Mhm.
main. That's my point right there. Treating her like the main thing he had going. You DMing her, you texting her every day. Y'all saying good
so
night, good morning,
if he doing
talking
that
about
with
each other
five
aspirations and
so if
stuff
he
like
doing that
that.
with 5 women or 10 women, and she just the one that live in LA and he do it with her the most, I can't say that that's like simping or nothing like that.
I think so because I mean you can have one of them relationships to where I'm just hitting you up when I'm in the city. You know what I'm saying? Especially you a mogul like that. I'm just hitting you up when I'm in the city, you know what I'm saying? I'm texting you a couple of days before, letting you know I'm gonna be around, get in, get out, do our thing, you know what I mean? Especially if you move like here, especially if you got all this, you know what I'm saying, you got all that to lose. I feel where you coming from a
You
I
thinking
don't
like
know,
a
like a
young,
regular dude
you
standpoint.
thinking like a 30-year-old man. That's what you
Honestly, I
thinking
feel
like.
like you thinking like the type of person that's gonna get rant over even worse than Shannon.
I
Like
don't
if
think
you,
so, bro. Because
bruh,
What?
that don't make sense because in my case,
you
you're
you thinking
interacting
like
less.
Diddy. You finna get caught
No,
up like Bill Cosby or something.
no, because you essentially
Bill
you
Cosby was running through him. Shannon wasn't. Shannon broke up with this girl. Like, hey, look, I don't really want
See,
nothing else
broke
to
up.
do.
They had something like a relationship. Like that's what I'm saying,
She
man.
moved to
This
Las
ain't.
Vegas to be close to him. He was paying her
See,
rent.
look at all
Yeah,
that.
I mean, yeah,
Look at all that.
he
That
right,
ain't.
like he
But
right.
what's the alternative to that? There is no, he don't have like that one person that he go to. So instead he just pick up random women. That's how you gonna get Bill Cosby right there.
So I think this
No
type of
sense of stability.
mentality
Mm.
is what I would call in some of the circles I'm around as buckle up. And what that essentially means is that it's a mindset of, you're essentially green in the fact that you're not gonna go out there and really try to get females like that on a large scale. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, he gonna choose one, he gonna nurse that one for a while, I guess, until he get ready to leave her and stuff like that. And that's a tactic for buckled up people, you know what I'm saying? More straight and narrow type things. But I'm just saying if you're talking to an OnlyFans chick, right? OnlyFans, we all know it comes with that. She's showing her body parts, she's talking sexy and really trying to influence people who are subscribing to her. It's just like how do you begin to maintain a serious relationship with that type of person? You know what I'm saying? In this case, when you're at the level he is and she's at the level she is, it just don't work. I mean, it's just an equation that don't work. And so what I'm proposing is that what he could have been doing is similar to the same thing, but much less communication, much less giving her this and giving her that, much less moving her out to where he is. He don't have to have all these close ties to this female like he had. You know what I'm saying? I think he took it seriously. I think he saw some type of future with this girl because if it was just for shits and giggles, it wouldn't have escalated to where it went.
I agree that
Gotcha.
he could have limited his influence in her life, but I also want to say I don't want to excuse the fact because I want to go back to what Arkeem was saying about like how old men like young women. I don't I'm not saying that that is not a universal truth that we all understand. We all know that that is a true thing. What I want to challenge people like him, like Shannon and others, is that you need to have the common sense to know when I need to cut this off. This ain't healthy for me. This ain't good for me. You are a grown man. You are two, three times this person's age. You should understand at what point, yeah, the fun is over now. Let me go ahead and end this. Not not some of the stuff that homie was accused of. Like, I'm gonna kill you if you don't have sex with me. Come on now. Come on now.
Did he say that?
Yes, that's
I
one of
thought
the
he said, "I'm just
allegations.
gonna choke you." All right, so but
That's
what that was her, because what she did was her OnlyFans was about BDSM. It was about getting choked out. It was about this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's why they never released the full thing because her fantasy was about. That's why he said on there, "I just might choke you in public." Big black man chokes little white girl in public. That was them
Arkeem.
foreplay. That
Arkeem.
was the,
Arkeem though, man. If you holler at a girl, right? Let's say you're talking to a girl, right? You're hollering at her, right? And y'all are good for a good like couple months, 3 months. And something around month four, it started feeling a little weird. It seemed like she pulling away. It seemed like it's not the same experience that it was those last 2 or 3 months. You can either do a couple things, right? You can you can be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and start wrapping this up. Like, I don't think this is really going anywhere anymore. You can do that, which I would say is probably everybody probably be like, yeah, that's a normal thing to do. Or you could be the kind of person that's like, nah, I want to try to make this work. I'm gonna keep trying to make this work. and then maybe you try, and then eventually you realize, okay, it's not gonna work. All right. Third option, I'm gonna try to make this work, and I'm gonna make sure this works. You can be that person, and everybody's gonna be like, "You crazy." Then you look like Joe Goldberg from You. I'm just saying, you have to have common sense. That's all I'm saying, y'all. But
Gotta have that kind of
gotta have common sense, no matter how much money you got. That's all I'm saying.
Common sense ain't that common, bro. It ain't that common.
It ain't. It ain't. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So what y'all got next, man? Y'all want to crack out this Congress takes summer break?
Free Shannon. I mean,
thing.
Yeah.
rehire Shannon.
Oh, that
Well, yeah,
ain't.
that's the last question. Do y'all think ESPN was right in firing him?
Nah. Well, if you settle and don't fight it, it make you look guilty, and that's why they fired him. So if I had to make that decision, you can't do that standing next to the mouse. That's what they say. You can't do none of that stuff standing next to the mouse. You settle out of court on a sexual assault case. You can't do that standing next to the mouse, dog. Holla
Hmm.
at you. That's just what that is.
Hmm.
Some of that
I
might be
think it
true.
was the business decision. You know, it's probably the right business decision.
It
Yep.
probably wasn't. When he
ESPN is
joined
owned by Disney.
First Take, that's when they reached all time high rating system. But yeah,
Mm.
ESPN.
They'll
let's
find some
move
money to place
on.
them.
So Congress takes their summer break in hopes that the Epstein files, the demand for Epstein files, the Epstein list, will die by the time they
Is that what
resume.
they said?
Basically, basically. Um, and yeah, so this is the type of thing that really bothers me because it's like, why can they do that? You know what I mean? We put y'all there to serve our needs. We put y'all there to do our bidding. But instead, y'all go for an early break.
That
You know
we
what I'm
ain't
saying? Like,
So you being a hater because they using the system to their advantage. Sound like you hating the game, not the player.
but it's
Look,
like, bro,
man,
y'all
they
are
make
there
the
to
game.
serve
They make the
us.
rules. Yeah.
bro, them
Yeah.
boys sitting around in a group right now, like, oh yeah, now, anytime Trump, our president and commander in chief, uses his political power to prosecute his enemies, y'all want to vote on this? Hell no! I'm with him. Who said that? I'm with him. Well, since you got so much to say, what you got to do? Well, how about we just go on vacation and they'll forget all about it? I like that. You know what I'm saying? Dave Chappelle set the water right there and say, what weapons of mass destruction?
Mm.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Epstein files. What you mean Epstein files?
Okay,
Yeah, I can definitely
let me
see them
pose
doing
that
something
question.
there.
Let me pose that question. If Trump was on, if the president of the United States, and most importantly for the Republican Party, the Republicans Obama is on this Epstein list. Do you know what type of power Trump yields in the Republican Party now? Trump is the guy that if somebody running for an elected position, they want Trump to endorse them to increase their chances of winning. You know what I'm saying? That Trump is basically the Republican Party's Obama now. Would you slash your party leader? You know what I'm saying? The president, he only been in 6 months, still got another 3.5. Would you slash him because the public want to see a list?
I mean, so this is a question of right or wrong law versus, you know what I
No, no, no,
mean?
no,
Just
no, Jalen. That's what I was going to tell you. I want you to put yourself in the seat of a senator. You're a congressman, something like that. You have political connections you got to maintain. You got relationships that you want to keep strong. You might want to be president one day.
man, I feel like, you know, I'm more of on the conspiracy side, and I feel like if I said something, I'm in that I might end up like the Obama's pool boy, you know. And nah, I probably wouldn't say nothing. I probably
You'll
wouldn't say
stay in
nothing.
line.
I mean, if it's
Yeah,
your
but that's
job,
why I
that's how
never
you
deal with
eat.
politics.
It's your job. I mean, that's how I live. You know, I know how to roll in the dirt and come out clean. And I'm gonna tell you something. Uh, in high school, when I was in ninth grade, there was about 5 gangs. I was in all of them. Yeah, see, everybody, I was in all of them. Whoever was winning, that's who I was with. See, that's how you gotta be in politics. That's how you gotta be. Look, these guys, this they bread and butter is on the line, right? Just like high school. Your bread and butter is your reputation. If you get knocked out, your reputation is completely out of there. You know what I'm saying? So to refrain from even getting into an altercation is what the smart kids did. Hence, joining every gang, joining every click and clack, right? So what you have to do is you got to stay out of the large commotion and become a commentator of what they're doing, and it makes them feel big, and you just kind of like, oh, okay. And then once those guys knock each other out, then you come out in the documentary. I can't believe it that Trump's name was on them files. I didn't want to. When they said it to me, I went silent for 2 months because that was my hero. Yeah, that's how you gotta play it, just like that. We got Willie on the pod.
Yo,
You know,
We got Willie
going
coming
back.
in.
but I will say this. I'm gonna say this. So if I was a senator, right, and Jalen, we will get you on the board in politics one of these days. Bet before you go,
No,
we gonna put you on the board. Yeah, we putting you up there.
Yeah.
Well,
y'all
anyway,
got it. Y'all got it.
what if I had all the right connections? I had a donor. I had the right donor pool. I had I had the slogan, campaign manager. I had it all set up. You just had to step in, build a platform, and get out there.
No.
I
No.
what if
Nah,
I put
because the situations what we talking about right now, I just feel like it's so many times in politics, so many times in the government where people have to make decisions like that. Maybe on not such a grand scale, and they may not be conspiracists like myself, but at the same time, I feel like it's a lot that's underlying the law. You know what I mean? It's what's right and wrong when it comes to politics and the way they be moving. It's about, oh, do I need to kind of vet this, you know, thing, this law, something that I have that I know is the right thing in this situation, even though I know it's gonna mess up my boss, who is also the commander in chief of the United States, or do I just? I mean, there's pressure, you know what I'm saying, and I just feel like it's got to be a lot of little sweeping under the rug, and you know what I'm saying, in one ear and out the other ear type of stuff going on, and I wouldn't want to be a
gotcha,
part of it.
gotcha. But okay, let me tell y'all about how I would handle it if I was a senator, or whenever I'm in a position of at least somewhat power. What you got to do is you never rock the boat whenever the boat is strong. Whenever the boat is balanced, you don't rock it. You just go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? We own the ship. It's a Titanic. But ever so often you find yourself in a position where the boat is already rocking. The Titanic has hit the iceberg. It's water in the basement. You know what I'm saying? And all you gotta do is just nudge it a little bit more and it'll capsize. You know what I'm saying? No,
Hmm.
nudge the Titanic a little bit more, it's split in half. And that's where you really should strike. Because if you can become the person that is revered for making that extra push to make the boat capsize, that's when you emerge the leader whenever all the chaos finally calms down. That's when you emerge the leader. And in this situation, I think the boat is too strong. I wouldn't I wouldn't rock it. I wouldn't jump out of line. You know what I'm saying? But in something like the Democratic Party right now, that's an example of where it's just total chaos. So the person that can come in and organize the chaos, they will emerge as a new party leader. And that's probably who will run for president next. They saying that it might be that Shapiro guy in Pennsylvania, I think. They said he's like passing a lot of AI laws. He had like he hosted a huge AI conference where he brought titans of industry in energy, AI, AI and tech, and I think banking. And he brought everybody together and said, "Let's get some deals done. Let's build AI centers in Pennsylvania and stuff like that." So he might be the guy that creates order in the Democratic Party's chaos. So we'll see.
We'll see. Sounds
But yeah,
interesting.
that's my tips for y'all. That's one tip, little gem for y'all, man. Never rock the boat when the boat is strong. But if
That's a
that boy
crazy
kind of
tactic,
weak,
man.
if it's kind of weak,
What about right and wrong, Anthony? What about what you're supposed to do,
We ain't talking
given
about
the
right and
the
wrong.
the
I'm
the
gonna tell you
faith
something
that
about
the
right.
people have put into you?
I'm gonna tell you something about right and wrong. And as y'all can see, I'm talking a lot more on this pod because I need to be a voice right now. But the thing about right and wrong is you want will you do more right if you get removed from your position early or if you stay in your position longer and do the things that you think are right on a smaller magnitude, right? Because the person that comes out and says, "I'm gonna do the right thing and be a whistleblower," they not gonna change nothing. They just gonna get ousted. You know what I'm saying? And how much right is
Yeah.
that gonna do?
Well, I mean, with that type of mentality, we'll never get anywhere. Somebody has to be the martyr. Somebody has to start it off and to get that
You
momentum started.
you got rage and you got the machine. Rage never beat the machine.
Rage has beat the machine.
When?
You ain't caught of your bottle.
When has Rage beat the machine, Jalen?
Rage has beat the machine. You don't know the fable of Paul Henry?
All right, next subject. This man tripping. This man tripping. He said Paul Henry.
Okay, let's move on to the
And then
next
he
one.
said
Oh,
fable.
speaking of
You
right
right.
and
It's always
wrong,
gonna be a fable.
speaking of right and wrong, so basically, an earthquake. I think they said one of the strongest earthquakes in recorded history hit like near Russia, and it sent tsunami waves to Hawaii and California. And they start getting tsunami warnings. Evacuate your area immediately. Oprah Winfrey apparently owns a big portion of land in Hawaii, and there's a road leading to her property. Her property is on high ground. So people that was evacuating their lower ground areas wanted to go on Oprah's property, but there was reports that that mud was blocked off. So speaking of right and wrong, like you said, Jalen, should Oprah have opened the gates for all of those people that was evacuating their homes to come on her property, even though I don't think she was
So,
physically there.
so I saw something earlier where she debunked it.
I
Um,
saw that too. But
and
that's why I'm speaking
but
hypothetically.
yeah,
Well, of course
hypothetically
she
though,
gonna debunk it. Of course she gonna say that ain't true. Go ahead.
hypothetically
Whichever
though,
is
I
true, the
mean,
hypothetical can work.
yeah, hypothetically, I feel like man, it's such a slippery slope when we get to talking about what people can do with their own property and, things that they done invested into and, it's they shit. But, in a lot of cases with celebrity, you get that. You get normal people trying to tell people, how they should use their shit, use their things. And, in a case like this, I feel like the heroic thing would have been to allow these people to, use that use her pathway or whatever. But ultimately, she didn't have any obligation to. Now, from the right or wrong standpoint, I do think she was a little wrong for Oprah. I mean, you can let them people get through there, save
I
some
feel like
lives
she did have
possibly.
the obligation. But
You think so? Because my
yes.
thing is, I feel like we got to look at,
Mm.
in situations like that where something like that is purchased, who does it fall on? Because this is your like your government plays a part in those types of things. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like they allowed her to get this when they knew they didn't have any other evacuation routes to higher ground besides this one that they're about to sell to Oprah, who probably will only be there like 2 times every other year. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I feel like ultimately, I don't feel the obligation falls to her, but I feel like morally, she would have been more right to let them through.
Once again, Willie, you on mute. Once again, that's people expecting somebody to do something that they wouldn't do. You are trying to count somebody else's pockets. We had this 2 weeks ago on our last pod. You count people's pockets trying to tell her what to do with her property. But meanwhile, you won't even let your cousin stay with you. Meanwhile, there's homeless people right in your city that you will not loan a room to. Why do average people try to dictate and control what rich people do with their money? You can't control it. When guess what? 88%, 88% of Americans do not, and this is a fact, do not even contribute at all. It was do not even contribute over $50 to charity per year. 88%. So I ain't trying to hear that. You won't let a homeless man in your yard, but you talking about you want Oprah to open up her yard and her home to people? No, man. And it was the same thing with Joel Osteen in Houston. Remember when they were calling Joel Osteen a hypocrite because he didn't want to let those people in the church during the Houston floods? Guess what? 88% of y'all wouldn't do it either. 88% of y'all don't even give $50 to charity. Y'all don't give $50 to nobody. So I don't want to hear this hard stuff. 88% of people do not contribute at all. And even if you don't have the money, you have the time. You don't go volunteer at the soup kitchen. You don't go help the poor learn how to read. You can do those things, but 88% of Americans do not. So I don't want to hear nobody else telling somebody else what they need to do with their money when 88% of Americans don't even contribute over $50 to charity. So cut it.
Not, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I actually agree with Arkin. I actually agree with them on that one. I was literally the same perspective I was looking at it from was like, what would I do if somebody was asking, "Hey, can I come inside your house real quick because it's raining really hard outside right now? Like I don't have a way to get inside my house." I'll probably be like, I don't know, but it's
No,
even worse.
no, no,
it-
no.
it's worse if it's a stranger that walks up to my house and I have no idea who this person is, and they just walk up and say, "Hey, can I come inside for a little bit because it's raining outside? I got caught." I don't have my car keys or something. If it's my neighbor, then I'm like, okay, maybe, yeah,
Oh, if it's
sure.
somebody
But if
you
it's a
know, that's different.
stranger, exactly. But that's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Like a bunch of random
And
Okay.
this is
people.
See,
Oprah.
we got two different things here that I gotta address. One, they didn't ask Oprah to come into her house. Two, if it's raining really hard outside, that's not a life or death situation. Imagine you had a big old yard. Let's keep it small scale. You got a big front yard, backyard, whatever. And for whatever reason, if these people can't come onto your yard and sleep, if they got a tent, whatever it is, they just need to sit in your front yard or they will be killed. Would you let them sit in your front yard?
I
I
don't
feel like
think.
that the answer to that is a no-brainer. The answer to
But
that is a
who's
no-brainer.
Oh, you
but
you
who?
saying that?
But
But
who's
there are
there
some
though?
people who will be in that group who will be opportunists. And when you are asleep at 2 a.m. in your bed, you will have somebody trying to break into your shit. You're freaking Oprah. Now, I mean, if she went there, that's a different thing. But you said we open our doors, especially if you have
Hold on.
family. If I have
I
a
didn't
young
say open
daughter,
your
a
door. I
wife,
didn't say open your
it
door.
Them
doesn't
niggas
matter.
gonna
It's
be
not opening your door.
Front
They gonna
yard,
open
front
your
yard.
door.
Let me
They
say
gonna open your door.
that.
It don't matter. You ain't gotta invite them into your house. They gonna invite themselves. You believe out of 1,000 people, however many people you talking about being on your yard, ain't one of them people gonna think about hitting a lick? Stop it. That's buckled up mentality.
Willie. Willie,
Let's
I
run
think you
that
need
back.
to
That's
get
buckled up
closer to the mic,
mentality.
Willie.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to. Hey, Anthony, will like this one. I just want to quote this from Superman. When Lois was grilling him, he said, "Look, they were gonna die." I feel the same way. I feel like sometimes we can be all political and be like yada yada yada, but when it's life or death, or like on 42 when they was talking about how Jackie Robinson couldn't play baseball, and he said, "Look, when it come between you and the Lord, saying, hey, they were gonna break in my house, God, I couldn't let them in. I don't know if that's gonna be sufficient." Hey, I agree. If she could open up that road to let them people in, just like Superman said, when Lois was trying to get all rules and hey, you didn't ask to engage here and there, like, look, bro, people are finna die. I did the course of action that was gonna keep people from dying. You can get a house fixed. You can get a road repaved. Folks do that every single day. But you can't get nobody out the grave. They ain't done that yet. Victor Frankenstein tried it, but they ain't done that yet. So I agree with
It's
you, Anthony.
it's people in this world whose lives is dedicated to being heroes. Guess what? I'm not one. And the thing is, and the thing is too, the thing is too, you can
Talk to
talk
him,
all that
Pop.
superhero stuff. You can talk all that superhero stuff, but in the real world, there are opportunists. In the real world, you got prison for a reason. In the real world, you got police for a reason. And guess what? You exposing yourself. You can do all that. Oh, if God gonna let me in, God gave you common sense too.
Hey, look,
That's
bro.
all I want to say on that one.
Hey, look, some
God,
of us. Hey,
Jalen turned into
That's a
a
clip.
Republican.
That's
He
a
turned into
clip.
a Republican.
hey, bro, Jalen said, "Look, it ain't my job to help them kids in college. They got to get it like the way I got it." Hey, look, at the end of the day, again, to each his own on that subject. I just know this, bro, and it's again, like Jalen said, it's a personal thing. If I hit a dog in the road, I'ma stop. I'm gonna get him out the road, but that's me. Somebody else hit a dog in the road, they say whatever. Now you get to the point where you hit a human in the road, and you say, at some point, and this is my disagreement with you, Jay. This is why I think you're wrong on an ethical level. At some point, you got to draw the line of humanity, right? Or else there is no line. Or else there's like, as long as if it doesn't benefit me, what's the use? Because there's always an angle of, oh, they gonna get over on me. Don't we all agree there? There's always that angle of I can't help this person because it puts me at risk. But that's with anything, right? If a I almost said, but if a dude burn you for $50, oh, bro, he finessed you for 50. Hey, bro, okay. whatever. But I just don't know if I would be that hard if people are sitting there and it's a life or death situation. I don't know if I can stand because man, who want? Because like, let's be real. The other option is for you to sit there and have people washing up on your damn yard dead. I Some people can look at that and say, "Hey man, what's for breakfast?" I ain't one of them, folks. That I ain't one of them.
They wouldn't even settle uphill. That don't even make sense. They wouldn't settle
That's
uphill.
crazy.
They'll settle towards the bottom. So they wouldn't even
Crazy.
wash up in your yard, first
That's
of
a
all.
crazy response. So you saying they'll just wash down? That's a crazy
And
response.
it's too, and we talking wholly different circumstances. You mentioned Gaza earlier. I can give Gaza all types of aid without inviting Gaza to my front yard. Like, come on, bro. Let's be real. Like, those are leagues of difference. You know what I'm saying? And opening a path versus letting people onto your lawn, sleep on your
So
lawn with tents is
is
two
your
totally
perspective?
different things as
In your
well.
perspective of this right here, you get a knock on your door on 307 and they say, "Hey, my friend was just in a major accident. Can I come in? Can we do something? We right out here on Lake Harbor." The way you talking, your response would be like,
Nah, you can't
No,
come in
you
my
can you can
house.
stand, you can
Nah,
stand on my porch. You can stand on my
nah,
porch, make your call right there. What are you talking
nah.
about? You're not about to come. I don't know you. Is that how you run? Nah, I
Exactly.
don't do. I don't
I
do
call the
that.
police for you.
I
Why don't
don't
you
do
call the
that.
police? I will
Yeah,
call the
nah.
police for you, but you cannot come in my house. That's a
No.
setup. That's a setup.
Yeah, yeah. That's buckled up mentality. I
That's
don't
a
do none of
setup,
that.
man. Come on. You don't let nobody in
Yeah.
your house. That's
No.
how
so,
you
Yeah.
so,
get
You
so,
too
so
tied up.
trusting.
hey, because
Hey,
that
Drake, I messed with Drake and he dropped this classic called Trust Issues. And ever since he
that
dropped it, I just feel like my
that's
mentality been
real,
different about
that's
just,
real life.
allowing certain things in my space. You know what I mean?
A real life event that happened when I was interning. On our first night of interning, a couple of them boys got into a drunk driving accident, and one of them had to go into this person's house because there wasn't no like that person invited them in. Clearly now they see the car smoking, they see the dude covered in blood. Like they don't think he finna like a kid covered in blood. Like look, my friend was just in a wreck. Again, to each his own on that. There is no well. In my
Water
book,
hose.
there
We
is a
can't hear you no more. That man said water hose. I'm through. I'm through.
I I don't know, bro. Like I just don't know, man. Like I don't know.
Oh, bro.
I'm gone now.
Man, we just trying to get somebody bamboozled out here, bro.
Hey, that's
We
how
just
you
trying to
go.
get somebody mopped, man. You can do that
I'm
stuff in certain places.
I'm gonna
You can
say
do this
this.
type
I'm
type
gonna
of
say
stuff in
this,
certain
man.
places, though.
I'm gonna say this, man. Me and our king was riding with our grandma once. Y'all, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah.
We was riding with our grandma, headed to our cousin, cuz that's what we called him, headed to his house to ride horses. And my grandma ended up rear-ending this car that stopped in the middle of the highway. This was probably like 2001, 2002. She didn't have a cell phone. We didn't have cell phones. What did we do to call the police, to call somebody to come pick us up? Because her car was no longer drivable. We walked up a hill to these random people's house, and my grandma said, "Can I use y'all's phone so that we can call somebody to come pick us up and call the police, alert them about the wreck?" Basically, what I'm saying is there was a time not too long ago where, and even still today, I feel like the things y'all describing, acting like they just otherworldly, is not, that's not practical, and you would be looked at as crazy in real life if you acted on the way that you speak it.
I agree. I agree.
What you mean?
It's not. Hold on.
Expand.
I'll explain what he means.
It
I'll
ain't too
explain what
many
he means.
people looking at Oprah as crazy even before she came out and said that.
I'll explain what he means. What Anthony is speaking on there is, even though this world is so big and social media and stuff like that, there is a sense of common decency, humanity. Like same with you, Anthony. When we had an incident. where we came home one day and the door was wide open. So we left at like 12 p.m. We came in, the door was wide open at 6 p.m. Sun was going down. We were nervous. My dad was not in town. My mom went to my neighbor. She said, "Hey, my door is open. We don't know what's going on. We're scared." My neighbor went in. He did what he had. He got what he needed to get in. He got his instrument. He went into our house and he checked it for us. And he said, "Look, it looks clear to me. It's good to go." Anthony, am I fair in saying he didn't have to do that? Neighbor or
That's
not.
my neighbor though. That's
Oh,
your
What's your
neighbor.
neighbor, man? Let's be real, bro.
it don't
Let's be
matter.
real. It do matter. In
No.
He
Anthony's
had
situation, you got
so
this elderly lady coming up to your house. She got these little kids with her, bro. Like, bro, context is important. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a
Hey,
totally different situation than
hey,
allowing groups of strangers into your private residence. Let's be real, bro.
bruh.
I but I didn't. Okay, okay, that's fair.
Man, hell no, it ain't fair, bro. Look, we ain't no like everybody in here trying to play crazy, bro. Like, bro, if
Nah, you trying to play
I
brave.
some girl or some dude or whatever come up to my door saying, "Bro, we was just in a wreck," and I see the car smoking and they homie hanging out the window half dead, I'm not finna
That's
sit there like,
context.
y'all trying to rob me. Y'all trying to take me. What?
That
Bro,
that's
that's
what you
context.
saying though, Jalen. That's
That's
what you
context.
saying.
That's
What you mean?
context, bro. All I'm saying that situation is different. I still wouldn't let them in my house. I still wouldn't let
What?
them in my house. Why? Yeah. Why do you need to get into my house?
Bruh.
Why?
Bro,
Why do you need to get in my house? I can
To
help
use
you
your
as
phone,
much
man.
out here. To
So wait a minute.
use
It's
my
four.
phone?
It's
Are we
four of
in
y'all.
1999? Look at this. I can throw this outside if I want to. What are we
bruh,
talking about?
bruh, I'm
Why do you
trying.
need to come into my house?
Okay,
Okay,
Why?
okay. What if
Give
it
me a
was?
logical
What
reason
if it
why you
was?
need to come into my house.
What if it was 0 degrees outside?
In Mississippi? Okay, we just talking
See,
about.
he this.
justification. That, right, bruh, what is-
Hey, wait a minute, You lucky I answered the door, because if I look out my peephole and see a nigga like this,
hey, so so
I
Anthony,
ain't finna,
same thing happened.
shit.
Hey, I want to see nigga moves and shit,
Same thing.
bro.
Some people I knew at Mississippi State, bro. It wasn't again. It wasn't 0 degrees, but it was like 46, and the car became unworkable. Right now, 46 degrees. You sitting there with no jacket outside, and you say, "Hey, can I come in?" Again, bro. We in a and look now. I ain't gonna try to pry, but this just shows you as a human race where we are. There was a time where people would do certain things that today Jalen would flip his head. But what you mean you let them in the house? What you mean you represented them without taking payment? What you mean you let him pay you with fruit because he couldn't afford it? Like bro, that's
Gave a wooden nickel, man. He worked all week for that wooden
yeah. What
nickel.
you mean paying for that wooden nickel? But bro, it was a bro. I'm telling y'all, now that seems crazy. But back in the day, it was normal for somebody to pay my grandmama with some chicken because she gave them a ride into town because they didn't have a vehicle. Like, like I know it's crazy now because we see a vehicle on the road. No, bro,
What is?
bro, that's real life, man. Some people don't got it. I know it's funny, but when you really,
What are you laughing at, bro?
that's all. Man,
Man said it's not uncommon to pay my grandma with some chicken.
bro, they did. Bro, it was some people who they didn't have money to pay her back, but they'll say, Miss So and So, because you gave me a ride to work, I'll cut your yard. Like it was that type of thing going on because that's just how folks had to get it out, get it in just then. Hey, you know, my wife, we don't have money, but my wife, she's a really good sewist, or my husband's a really good carpenter. He'll make you a dresser. He'll redo your floors for you doing this. there was a
Yeah,
That's
or
cool. What does that have to do with
I
now?
don't
What does
have
that
money,
have to do
Mr.
with
Jefferson, but
now?
I got a really nice body.
but you asking what it has to do with what hey, hold on.
Don't worry.
Hey, 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 I'm finna go pop me some popcorn. All right.
Okay, we playing too much, man. Willie was making a serious point.
Oh my God!
Ooh.
I hope I didn't get the system wet. Oh man! Oh,
Man, hey, man. Willie, come back, man.
Oh my God.
But Willie is actually right though. Everything he's saying, I actually agree with.
No, bro, because I was just about to debunk that junk before we started laughing, but I I understand that everybody was about brotherly love and the neighborhood raises the child and all of these things that we kind of grew up on the tail end of, right? But the thing is, technology has come to a pace where it's moved society forward from all of these communal relations and activities that we've done, man. We see that on a daily basis. We just had a discussion about family gatherings in the last podcast. You know what I mean? And it's just the terrain that we in right now. It's not to say if it's right or wrong, but that's just where we are. You know what I'm saying? And so in today's age, it is more dangerous to just allow anybody into your house than it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Neighbors aren't like just neighbors the way they used to be. We used to have a saying, go and buy go and borrow some sugar from your neighbor. You know what I mean? Like nobody says that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because of the capitalistic society and because of being self-driven and chasing things and getting it on your own for your family and stuff like this. You know what I mean? And it's just where we are in America. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I understand where he's coming from, but some people are going to exercise caution more than others. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? It takes a whole lot of colors to make a crayon box, and that's just the way the world really unfolds. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't be that person that's just gonna allow any and everything just because somebody gives you a sob story. You know what I mean? If that were the case, a lot of people wouldn't get anywhere. And I mean, um, since the beginning of time, I mean, people been trying to get over and hoodwink people. So I mean, I'm just as neighborly, just as really giving and everything else that the next person is. Even though it may not look like it on this podcast, but at the same time, I also exercise caution. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure. But I would like to go ahead and push to the next topic. Um, this is probably my number one on the list on the docket for today. WNBA players are advocating for higher pay, and a greater share of league revenue, reflected with their "Pay Us What You Owe Us" T-shirts at their All-Star game. A little bit of context: WNBA players currently receive around 9% of league revenue, whereas NBA players receive about 50%.
all
And
right. And I have the numbers for that. You ready?
yeah,
Okay, so basically what's going on here is the NBA is to a point the what's their name?
WNBA.
WNBA is to a point where they're only actually receiving 16% of their own revenue. I mean, I'm sorry, 42%. So when the NBA did its last deal with the TV networks deal, they bundle the WNBA in with that. But with that, they take 42% in that deal. Like, hey, look, y'all want to get paid? Y'all got to give us a portion of your, ownership. So 42% is owned by the NBA. So 42% of everything they have come in automatically go to the NBA. So and then they own 42% and they sold 16%. Is that right math? 80, 84, 16%, right?
Well,
Yeah.
you saying they a
But
lot.
see, they're
Who
not
owns
profitable,
68%?
Okay,
right?
so you got the NBA. Yeah, WNBA is not profitable. You got the
Right.
NBA 42%, WNBA 42%, and then private equity on 62%. So that's who's inside of the WNBA's pockets. Is that the correct math, Clay?
No. Well, it's confusing. Are you saying that the WNBA and the NBA are one entity and
No,
they collectively own 42?
no. The WNBA owns 42% of its company, just like if it's a CEO. The WNBA owns 42% of the WNBA. The NBA owns 42% of the NBA. And then
Mm-hmm.
private equity owns 16% of the WNBA. So it's
Okay.
hard for them to recoup only getting 42% back of what's coming in because they sold it. So
Gotcha.
and then those girls are getting what you said 9%.
Of total revenue. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're in the hole. WNBA is not profitable, but what they think they can do is turn a profit. So that's what they got to do with. They've been bailed out so many times. Bailed out once by the NBA, and then bailed out by private equity 2 years ago. So it's on the verge. It's not a profitable business, and it's real hard to teams don't always be profitable. You think you're gonna get it back on the back end or the next TV deal. WNBA is not. Hey, look, I'm giving you the numbers because I'm trying to make it more real and more understandable what's going on. It's not like they just have a bunch of money and they just hide it from these girls.
Yeah,
But go
that's
ahead.
facts. They like I think last year they lost some people say 40 million, some say 50. So it's like, I mean, y'all really getting 9% of revenue is a win. Because if you was getting any percentage of profit, you would owe the WNBA money.
So,
So
are y'all familiar?
that's a big difference.
Are y'all familiar with soccer in any way, like Premier League soccer, anything like that? So
I'm not familiar with the business side.
So the business side of Premier League soccer is actually a little bit different in the U.S. U.S. is, pay to play. Premier League, there's a trickle down effect. So basically, in English soccer, FA, right? They have the top league, Premier League. That's like Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United. You know teams like that. You heard those teams before, like Arsenal and all that. Manchester United, City.
Yeah.
That's top of the league. But the way they work is a trickle down effect. Meaning, let's say the top of the league has $100 billion deal, and they split it up between teams. So if you finish last in the Premier League, like you get relegated, meaning you get kicked out, you make about $70 million from the league. That's on top of whatever you bring in from your home stands, all that. That's strictly TV deal. You know what I'm saying? And then, but it trickles down. Meaning, if you were not in the Premier League, you were in the next league. It's called Championship, the one below it. You get, let's say, 20 million. The one below that gets 5 million. But it's all eating off of the Premier League. Kind of like the SEC, right? Love Mississippi State. I'm a proud alum. We ain't helping them when it comes to football, but we are getting money from that SEC $5 billion deal. So what I'm getting at is, do you think that because we know for a fact, I for one cannot name you one woman's sport that's more publicized than WNBA. So I know if WNBA is in the negative, all these other women team sports got to be operating in the big red, correct? Or either they got some crazy financial backing. Do you think that the WNBA and the NBA need to consolidate on a trickle-down effect, if they don't already have one, to keep the WNBA in existence? Because you're right, operating in the red, unless your daddy owned the team and he just glad to see his son, or operating in the red is not going to work with private investment and stuff like that. People are going to pull out. They're not just going to sit there and watch their money go unless they, one, are an owner in the team, or two, they just genuinely have such a love for that game and seeing it happen that it being in the red is no big deal.
Also, it's important to point out when they lost 50 million last year, that was the smallest amount that they ever lost. So last year was their best year at minus 50. But Willie, I didn't quite understand what you proposed. Could you simplify it a bit?
I was proposing, I use the Premier League as an example, this a trickle-down effect. Basically, your 2% money. Your money, after every team in the NBA receives their revenue check for like whatever endorsement deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have a money that goes into like bonuses or whatever. Could that money be trickled down to the WNBA? Because hear me out. You say the WNBA operated and made negative 50 in revenue, right? Negative 50 million, right? What was
Yeah,
the NBA's revenue?
I'm not sure.
Now imagine they gave them 1% of their revenue.
But see, that's the thing, though.
That's how the trickle down effect works. But that's also how those soccer teams like that keep a team. Let's say, like the way the trickle down works over in soccer. Granted, it's one sport. Is that our king
But
and his local Austin team? They even get a piece of the pie. They get the smallest crumb, but they get something.
11 billion.
but see, that's the
11
thing,
billion
though, bro.
NBA. 11 billion.
But see, that's the thing,
11.3
Willie,
billion.
is if me and you are if my team and your team is in the same league, we're still a part of the same product, which is the Premier League, which is the NBA. My team has to play your team at some point. You know what I'm saying? But the WNBA is a totally different product. It's like Google doesn't mind subsidizing YouTube. Just an example, YouTube is profitable. But Google wouldn't mind subsidizing YouTube because it's under their umbrella of products. You know, just like the NBA doesn't mind subsidizing the G League, right? It's under their umbrella of products. But Google isn't going to subsidize Meta Ray-Bans. You know what I'm saying? Like if Meta Ray-Bans don't make money, the R&D and product and development is outweighs how much they make from it. Google isn't going to say, well, I'll give y'all a percentage of our revenue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because some of the videos that come from Meta Ray-Bans will end up on YouTube.
yeah.
They're not going to do that.
And you're right, Anthony. And like the way I was looking at it, like the trickle down effect in soccer, it's a whole different deal because that was entrenched in the structure. Was that even though we have a team like Manchester, or whatever, that makes $1 billion, right? That money should even flow all the way down to Anthony's local team in his local neighborhood, because at the end of the day, somebody from Anthony's local team someday might make it to Manchester United. It's like a trickle down, pay it forward effect. They put that in for a minute because it's supposed to keep the game like not honorable. It keeps it so that one day, Anthony, your local neighborhood team can step up and play and not be sitting there saying, "How the hell are we gonna pay dues?" And so it looks like the WNBA, for all the star power that they have off the court, right? It just don't translate to the revenue on the court. I'm pretty sure Caitlin Clark generates so much revenue off the court that it's almost laughable to what she is, giving on the court for her.
I feel like
I think so too.
I feel like she's compensated for the star that she is outside of basketball or beyond the WNBA. I feel like she's compensated for that with endorsements. But see, let me tell you the difference.
Maybe they should do 360 deals.
Let me tell you the difference. If the NBA, all right. So going back to your Premier League example, if I give the neighborhood soccer team money, the chances are that maybe it'll increase the development of those neighborhood teams, and then better talent will come to my team or something like that. There's an output for the input. If you pay every WNBA player, let's say $1 million a year, it's not like that's going to increase ratings. I can see if you say, yo, we're going to take the money and spend it on advertising. There's an output for that input. But if you just pay Caitlyn Jenner, Angel Reese, uh, whoever the other WNBA players are, you just raise their salaries 10x. It doesn't, there's no output for that. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no
Yeah,
output
yeah.
for
I,
that.
You're just making
oh,
people rich, but you're slowly killing the company.
You're
it's
making
more.
it worse.
It's more like a. But that's the thing. The way I'm looking at it, and the way the Premier League looks at it, it's a write-off. It ain't about an output or input. Like when they do this stuff, this is their model. But granted, it's a one sport. It's a big league though. It's top. It's a lot of teams under that umbrella. But they look at it like not charity in the sense of, oh, it's like, look, this is important to the game as a whole. So if we trickle down, and let's say at the bottom tier, your team that start, like, remember, top one is like 140 million. But the bottom tier, which is like literally neighborhood teams, gets $10,000 for their year. Now, them boys paying for their own shoes, they paying for their own clothes. It's not going to the players; they're not getting paid. But it's going to say, hey, it'll keep the grounds clean. Like this ground is historic. It's been here for 300 years. This will keep it clean. This will keep it here. That's what it's going for. So what I'm saying for not for the players, but for these teams and for the girls who look up to them to say, hey, Minnesota has a WNBA team, and because of the NBA trickle down effect, we get $100,000 a year from the NBA trickle down, and that lets us have these camps for girls to play basketball. It's not like the NBA not gonna miss that. You know what I'm saying? It's not about making a profit. It's just about more of an integrity. I don't want to call it charity, but that's exactly what it is. It's like, look, we're going to get this 100K. They going to get it. We don't care. We're going to make that in one commercial. We don't care. And I'm not saying that's the right move. I'm just saying, is that a move that could help the WNBA? Because at some point, it is going to go away. And girls going to be like, well, shoot, I don't know what to play. Because if the WNBA is the biggest woman professional sport in America, what does that say about every other professional sport in America that is tailored to women? Women's softball, women's lacrosse, women's soccer. They got to be operating in the bloody
They
rig.
just gave that one girl at Texas Tech. She just got $1 million in NIL.
But see, that's the thing.
But see, Willie, what you saying is who is the, if you looking at a bunch of terrible things, which one is the least terrible? And that really just don't work, because the fact of the matter is, people just might not watch women's sports like that.
And that's what I'm.
That like
You got to
so
think
just
about it. Women outnumber men. Women outnumber men.
Women rather.
That tells you everything you need to know right there. If in order for women's professional sports to be successful, all women would have to do was start watching women's sports. It'd be simple. But see, that's not the priority for many women in the United States and in the world. So, I mean, ultimately, you at some point have to ask yourself a question of, do we maintain these sports to get these athletes to a level where they can become pros in order to make money? Or do we keep them at a level where they're purely doing this for sport? Because the reason you can have professional sports at that level is because it generates income, it generates revenue, and because
exactly.
people want to watch it. So if you don't have those aspects, otherwise you're doing just what Willie said. It's charity.
And that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. And I'm gonna say this too. Let me say this one thing, Willie. Women, like Jalen just said, women don't watch women's sports. Women don't watch any sports, right? But let me point something out to you though. What about fashion? right? Who do you think got paid more? Giselle, Tom Brady's ex-wife, who was a model, or a male model, the top male model, right?
Giselle for sure.
I would say
Exactly.
so.
So, but see, nobody is out here saying male models don't make as much as female models. It's because
That's a fair
women
point.
care about fashion, women care about makeup, they care about those things. That's what they drive, and it drives revenue. Men, we don't care that much about that stuff. So a male model is not going to make what Giselle made or whoever the top model is right now. But we don't hear that, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Right.
My thing is this too. Again, guys, I'm not arguing X's and O's. I'm arguing the system. Not arguing, and I'm not trying to argue. What I'm saying is right here. You go WNBA player by WNBA player. That's neither what I. That's neither here or there. I'm not asking for them to get a pay raise. What I'm saying is basically what Jalen was saying. Like, is it if you look at it from a purely business perspective, it's in the negative. Would you rather have a charity WNBA that is sustained not by the WNBA? Like that's how I was getting with the soccer. These lower clubs aren't sustained by anything they're doing. They're sustained by the trickle-down effect that the FA, the Football Association, has set up so that these small clubs can exist because they can't exist no other way. So it is not about the players. Caitlin Clark, man, ain't talking about them. I'm talking more so about the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Fever relationship to Indianapolis, to the women, to the girls. Is it okay for us to say, look, y'all ain't gonna ever get out the red. And that's okay. We gonna take care of y'all because it ain't about the money. It's about the entity that y'all represent as a woman's sport thing. It's like almost like a league of her own, right? A league of her own was a whole women's league. They knew they weren't finna make no money. But it wasn't really about making money. It was having a venue for people to go. Basically, what I'm basically saying is make it short and simple. Would you rather have the WNBA and have little girls having something to aspire to, even if it's in the red, or would you say, hey, bro, it ain't making no money. Let's pull the plug. And now little girls looking at
What
nothing.
is the male equivalent? What is there out there that women excel at more than men, but they just have this little thing out there so that boys can say, "Hey, we have a makeup sector too." What
So
what is the male equivalent like? Why do we have to have that?
men's soccer and women's soccer. Men's soccer don't get paid nearly as much, and not even close to what women's soccer for the U.S. team make. Because men's player get paid more, astronomically more on a club level than they get for their national team. But the women don't. A lot of time, women clubs make bare minimum, but they get paid more for the
So you
national
talking about the World Cup team?
or the national team. Yeah, the U.S. So the U.S. men's team, they don't get paid hardly anything because they make a lot of money in their club team. The women don't make a lot of money at all in their club team, and they make a lot more for the national team. Now, the women's national team is very successful, and to be fair, they have a very big fan base. I don't know if it's more than the men, but it's definitely more comparable to the WNBA and the NBA for sure. So that's what I'm saying. I get it what you mean from an X's and O's standpoint. I'm just saying at some point, do we just say, look, we going to take care of y'all because y'all need to exist, I hate to say for the culture, but y'all need to exist for girls to have some look up to. Because
But
girls
that
can
but
play.
that's why I asked the question that I asked is because the only reason you feel that way is because they are women. That's the only reason because there is no other scenario where that happens for boys or for
We can
men.
look at G League. You know what I'm saying? We can look at G League. We can look at the European basketball league, European football league. I mean, these guys are not getting paid as much as people in the NFL, people in the NBA, different things like that. I mean, well, I
But,
Yeah.
guess we're keeping it within the country, so
but see, the
never
stigma with
mind.
women is this is what they have on us that this is what the women part has and the men part don't. The bottom line is women were barred from having sports. Let's just be honest. And in some countries, not the United States, they still barred. So they are looked at as a different lens. It ain't an apples to apple. Like I can't compare the women's soccer team that got started 20 years ago to a boys soccer team that's been around for 50. You see what I'm saying? That's the narrative they don't want to speak on. Right? The WNBA ain't been around for 100 years like the NBA. Been around for like 30. So that's the thing. It's to introduce them to make it last because they can't do it on their own, clearly.
If Victoria's Secret had a men's division and it didn't ever make any money, you think they'd keep it or drop it?
Drop it.
They drop it.
But hear me
You
out.
think Fashion Nova will still
I
have the
think
men's
Lil
brand?
Scrappy. I think Lil Scrappy in that case. And what if I said, man, hey, look, bro, Lil Scrappy, he my favorite person. He my favorite TV show personality on a drama show. I think Lil Scrappy need to get paid the same as Kim Kardashian.
No, but hear me out. Here's my counter to what you said. If Jalen gets dropped by Victoria's Secret, are there other model agencies that are in that same level that he can go to? Can he go to Ralph Lauren that has a very strong men's modeling department? Can he go to Tom Ford Gucci? If you say
no. I was talking about if they had a men's line.
Oh, what I'm getting at is this right here, though. And you're right. I agree with you on that. I still think there's more options. I think if the WNBA was to end, there ain't no more option for women's basketball in America. That is the pinnacle. And that's what I'm getting at. If the pinnacle, because if you can get dropped by Victoria's Secret and go to polo. It ain't no polo for women's basketball. What you gonna do? Go play local YMCA adult league? Like that's it. That's the only other option is adult YMCA.
I thought they made more overseas.
No, but
they make more overseas than they do in America.
Right, but that's overseas. But then you run into the thing like Arkeem just said. If I live in Plano, Texas, and I want to play in America, now you move into a whole different market. That's not even in the same, you know what I'm saying? If you don't make Major League Baseball, you can play minor league. You can play Savannah Bananas. You can play XYZ and be okay. In WNBA, what G League do they have, Jalen?
That's my knowledge.
No, it's like I said, it's either my WNBA. There ain't no buff, right? There ain't no Canadian Football League or X. It is. See,
Man, you just gotta make money, man. That at the end of the day, you just gotta make money. If you're calling yourself a business, you have to bring in money. Nobody
right.
in 2025 and beyond, that's all.
Yeah, let's wrap that topic. Say what now?
Play, man. Let the kids play ball, bro. Don't worry about the money. Let the kids play.
Right, they ain't got to be on TV.
Don't worry about
the owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves also owns.
Well,
he eating. Let the kids play.
There you go again, trying to dictate that man's pockets, bro.
What people do with their money?
Done.
What?
Uh-oh.
We have here we have it, guys.
Let's get ready to rumble.
The conversation we've been having in the group chat. Let's get rid of DC versus Marvel. We're gonna base this around movies though, not just characters. With the release of Marvel's Fantastic Four and DC's Superman, who has been releasing the best movies as of late?
As of late? How far back we going?
What you think, Willie? 2020?
In the group message, it was proposed 2020, so let's just kick it off from there. So, I think, first of all, I would just say in general, Marvel has always had a strong showing in the cinema department. Comparing the two overall, from things like Spider-Man's origin story, the different Hulks, X-Men, a lot of different really, really good and well known hero movies, and a lot of them were successful. And I think here lately, I think after Avengers Endgame, people felt like maybe Marvel was, maybe trying to start plateauing or something like that. But I do think they did have some good showings. A decent Doctor Strange sequel. Spider-Man movies came out that really held the torch pretty well too. So I ultimately feel like Marvel is still doing pretty strongly. Uh, Maybe in the last couple of years with some of the things they've been doing with streaming, it probably slowed down a little bit because I think more focus was put on that. But I think Fantastic Four is a step in the right direction, and that while I there was some things that I more things I wanted to see in the movie, I think that it's painting a clear picture that Marvel is back to the business. So that's what I'm glad to see. And on the DC side, I feel like they just haven't been able to uh, hold a candle to Marvel. Honestly, I mean they are improving, but I feel like when you have a Justice League with some of your biggest heroes all in the same movie, Batman, Superman, The Flash, Cyborg, and you compare that to an Avengers that also has many of the star-studded heroes from the company as well. I mean, it dulls in comparison. I think DC is improving, but they have a ways to go to catch up to catch up to Marvel.
Willie,
Okay.
Oh, I agree with
Go
what
ahead,
Jalen
Willie.
100%. I think, you know,
we can't hear you.
Yeah,
oh,
we
can you
can't
hear
hear
me
you.
now? Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yep.
I think I agree. I'm reconnecting. Oh
Yeah.
Lord. Okay. I think I agree with what Jalen said 100%. Could y'all hear that? Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Jalen said 100%. Yeah.
Okay. I said I agree with what Jalen said 100. I definitely
It look
think
like you got a
Marvel,
delay or something.
can you hear me? Okay. I
That
think
iPhone 4 killing you.
I think you have a delay.
all right, hold on 1 second then. Can y'all hear me now?
I can't. What was you gonna say?
What I was gonna say was, yeah, we can.
We can't if you saying something now.
iPhone 4, baby. iPhone 4. But like I was saying though, I really think that Marvel does have the crown, and a lot of people just jealous of them, and they want to see DC win because it's like on some like underdog stuff. Like, but Endgame and what was it called? The Revolution. What was the second last one?
Infinity Wars.
Infinity Wars. Man, them were the biggest movies out. And as much as I like the Batman, as much as I like that Joker movie, I do think they are dropping the best content, but I don't think they have a fan base as big as Marvel's. Like Marvel has grown the fan base bigger than DC. Why are you shaking your head? No.
I agree. Like, there's no way DC's fan base is close to Marvel's.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of a superhero, it's like they are DC has all the people. When you think of a superhero, the first person you think of is Superman, Batman. You know what I'm saying? Right up under that would be Spider Man. When you think of the biggest villains in movie history is either Dark Vader or the Joker. DC got that. But whenever it comes to modern day movies, they Marvel has entertained the world in so much of a better place. But I think, and they garnered everything. It's like they took the lion's share of everything. But right now, when you just talk about that content that's just being put out, I don't even know if you call it content. The cinema being put out right now, just my age, like not no little kid stuff. I think DC has the best stuff. It's more introspective. They're more creative. Marvel is doing money grabs right now, but they still are the bigger dog. And people like Willie always lying, saying that DC gonna take over and shut them down. That's cap. And you go ahead, y'all. Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah,
Okay.
loud as hell.
So I agree with everything
Right.
Jalen. I agree with everything Jalen said. He's exactly right. Marvel has turned into a behemoth, especially since the purchase of Disney. They are definitely the standard for movies. From Spider-Man, Tony Stark, that Avengers 2012 changed the game for movies. You can just see the trend line where it went. Now, what Anthony's talking about, now to answer your question, Anthony, are you saying right now who is where, like, as they stand now? We know the past, but as they stand now, I would say they're on more equal footing now than they have ever been, and here's why. DC did a complete overhaul. So if you look at anything DC did before 2022, it's completely different now. That whole entire organism they had is gone. James Gunn came and he has shifted. They were shifting before he officially took over, but everything has changed drastically. Uh, Marvel is still the big dog when you look at the history. You can't discount the last since 2008. You know, you can't discount that. But if you just look at this, what it's going to now, and I could be wrong, and you guys give me comments on this. I feel like DC understands now what they are trying to be. They have the benefit of the doubt now with James Gunn that they're like, okay, we're going to redo everything. That's why they redid Superman. That's why we're going to have a new Batman. You know, they're going to say, we're going to build this from the ground floor. That gives them so much flexibility. Where Marvel, now they're in a situation where they have to find who's going to be the new it guy. So we speak on Fantastic Four. The difference between Fantastic Four and Superman is this, and and this is why I think Superman has more legs than Fantastic Four. Marvel went and look at the cast. Marvel got two of the biggest actors in the world right now, and Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal has done 12 projects in the last 12 months. He's not gonna be there long term. James
Why?
Gunn, huh?
Why?
Because he got other stuff that he involved in. He got The Last of Us. What I'm saying is he's a very popular actor. Hence why Michael B. Jordan did one movie, right? Because he got other stuff he's trying to do. DC different. James Gunn went and got a young Superman. David Cornswell is barely over 30. His biggest role to that point was Pearl. Have y'all seen Pearl? No. So what I'm saying is he got more legs to say, hey, I can commit to this role for 5-6 years. Because this is it. This is the pinnacle, right? Rachel Brosnan, her biggest movie was Marvelous Miss Maisel. That came out on Amazon Prime 10 years ago. She could commit to being Lois Lane for 5-6 years. Mr. Terrific, right? His biggest role was X-Men First Class. That came out 12 years ago. He can commit to being Mr. Terrific for the next 5 or 6 films. And that's why what Marvel doing with Doomsday. Who did they get to play Dr. Doom? Robert Downey Jr. What has Robert Downey Jr. done for them? He was Tony Stark. So they're trying to revisit the well because they don't have a plan. You can't say right now, Arkeem, can you say who is the big dog in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I just seen 2 articles this week that said, 1, Pedro Pascal was going to be the lead for Doomsday. Then 2, he wasn't going to be the lead, and they was going to put Thor. Now, Thor, we just seen him the last 12 years. That's what I'm saying. They don't have a direction. They're kind of just going and saying, you know what? This ain't working. Let's try to bring that old thing back. And that's why I say I still think Marvel is ahead. But it definitely ain't what it was 10 years ago. It definitely ain't that no more.
So how much
Uh,
do you attribute their newfound success to the fact that their literal director now is from Marvel? Like, how much credit can we really give them when they juice is coming from Marvel?
Well,
You
James
know what
Gunn.
I'm saying?
Well, I mean, James Gunn is written for both sides. What I'm saying is James Gunn did one Marvel franchise. It wasn't like he ain't like the Russo brothers where they did.
Franchise. You did say franchise though.
Well, he did.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
He did Guardians. What I'm
That's
saying
some
is,
people's favorite
I get.
ish.
Hold on, let me finish. I get what you're saying. But like Russo brothers did like 15 Marvel. Like what I'm saying is, he's not that entrenched. Clearly, he wasn't that important. They let him go over some tweets from 2 years ago.
What did he work first? Where did he work first?
I don't know James Gunn history. I think he did. I think he did the
No, I
what?
mean
Also,
between Marvel
I
and
think he
DC.
did. I think he did DC first because he did the what you call it movie. What's the Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds? I think he did that. But nothing. Well, it's like who cares? Anyway, they bounce directors all the time. But what I'm talking about is the direction of the franchise, and our King spoke to it. We know Marvel's the big dog. We're not debating that. But if you look at DC's 5 big
It was
projects,
Marvel though. It was Marvel.
okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but I agree with you. But you look at the last 5 big projects that came out for DC. Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad, Penguin, the Batman, and Superman. Those are 5
Penguin.
solid projects. They haven't had 5 solid projects since Man of Steel, Wonder Woman,
Penguin
and then they
came
didn't even
out
get
in
that far.
theater.
Hmm?
Penguin came out in theaters.
No, I'm saying no. Penguin was
I
it's a
thought we was
show,
talking about movies.
TV show.
but I'm just speaking in the
We
whole
talking about
direction.
movies or TV shows.
Either way, I'm speaking on the whole direction of where they're moving. That was 5 solid releases. Arkeem liked Penguin. He loved the Batman. I really like what I'm saying is they're putting out 5 watchable stuff. The competition of now of like, oh, who's better, who's not, who cares? Who really gives a damn? But you see now that DC where they were giving you nothing. They were
That's what
giving
we
you
talking about.
a good movie every 5 or 6 years. And now they've shown some consistency. And Superman, like I said years before, a year ago, I said Superman was going to let you know what DC was going to be moving to. And with the success of Superman, with Supergirl coming out, with them introducing Batman next year, they have given themselves legs for people to say, hey, I think I want to go see a DC movie. Because it might be halfway damn good.
so question, is the Batman under James Gunn?
It's borderline. He was transitioning when it came in. But it will not be basically this. Robert Pattinson's Batman will be its own standalone thing. It will not be the DC Batman. The DCU will have its own Batman. That's why Batman the Bold is coming out next year. So you have 2 Batman.
Oh man.
And you think
So
everything gonna be as successful? That's why we about to run my boy Batman
No,
ragged. You think
because
that's a
and
formula
I
for
think they
success?
can.
We
This is
about to
why.
have 2 different Batmans out, one with DC, one without. And then the one that is without DC is the one that has Robert Pattinson, one of the most prolific, actors of our time.
That
You know
don't
what I
mean
mean? So
anything.
that bodes real well for DC, and the formula does
See you,
sound really
but
great.
see
I
you
totally
looking at
agree
it.
with you.
You looking at it from a pit. I'm looking at it from a very balanced approach. I get what he's saying. The Batman came before him, and with a character like Batman, you're allowed to have multiple. You had multiple Spider-Man. You had 3 Spider-Man from two different cinematics, right? You had the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. You had Tobey Maguire with the first Spider-Man. You had Tom Holland, and they brought them all in one movie. What I'm getting at is this
I
right
was
here.
just about
With
to
a
say
character like
beautifully
Batman,
at
it
that.
can work. You can have your DC Batman that's connected to the story, but you can have your standalone Batman who does his own thing. Well, it won't bother me none.
At least you always had a multiverse in Spider-Man.
And that's what I'm getting at. Some characters you can't do that with, right? You can't have 2 different Iron Man. But Batman is the biggest comic book character of all time. You can do that. Spider-Man, the second biggest comic book character of all time. You can have multiple Spider-Men. You can't have multiple Thors, right? They tried that with Thor: Love and Thunder. It was not great. So what I'm getting at, I think that DC for the movie, because look, all these. This is why I say TV shows count. These TV shows are tying into these movies. Arkeem watched Penguin. Penguin is going to be a character in the next Batman movie. It's going to tie it together. I just think they did a really good
But see,
job.
to that token, Marvel is doing the same thing. And earlier, you really didn't give credit to Marvel for doing anything outside of cinema, even though they are releasing things like Ironheart, things that I have heard people talk about, and they do like these shows. So, I mean, at the end
What
of
you
the
mean, give
day,
Marvel any credit?
like earlier, you said basically they fell off. They don't have a
They don't have a
direction,
direction, dude.
especially.
Have you seen
But
Penguin?
the series did just like you said. The series that they dropped also tied into the movies.
Which one?
I think it was the
Ironheart
one,
didn't,
the Thunder,
Ironheart didn't tie
the
anything
not
into
Ironheart, not Ironheart. I think it was the Eternals.
the Eternals. Is a movie. It's not a show.
It's one of those. It's one of those shows that
So
they
this,
dropped that
this is what
also
I mean.
ties
This is
into the
what I say
movies.
tying
Yeah.
into it. And or Kim, correct me if I'm wrong. Penguin, the TV show, picks up right after the Batman the movie, correct?
Yep.
And so, like Peacemaker, the first season of Peacemaker picked up right after the Suicide Squad movie. Peacemaker 2 is going to pick up right after Superman. It's all flowing together in a line. Marvel
So
hadn't had that in a long time. The only time they
you
did
got
that,
one division. You got
WandaVision,
one division.
WandaVision came out, and I'm not talking about what came out 5 years. I'm not talking about that. And they broke off WandaVision because they ended that with No Way Home. What I'm saying is Marvel is starting over again. Clearly, that's why they introduced the Fantastic Four. That's why we got a new
Wait,
Captain America.
Daredevil is a TV show too, right?
It's not connected to anything that's going on. Yes, it is a TV show, not connected to anything that's going on at all.
I heard that mother rocks.
That's what I'm saying. Like they dropping good stuff.
I get you, but
I
but they don't. What I'm saying is they're dropping good stuff. When I say
And
don't
what
ever have
about
it,
Wonder? What about Wonder Man?
that ain't even came out yet, and nobody even knows
But
what
it's
that's gonna be
coming.
about.
It's coming out though.
But what's it gonna be like? That's what I'm saying. You basically explaining everything I'm saying.
And
Anthony,
then they got a lead. Like then Wonder Man got a lead black actor in that mother. Wonder Man black.
Loki
I
was
forgot.
big.
did
Wait
you
a
watch
minute.
Loki
Who was
Loki?
was
Wonder Man
actually
with?
Did you
Loki
watch?
was a big.
Wonder Man repping that Marvel.
Did you watch Loki season 2?
What about Static Shock?
I just know it was
Uh,
big.
I know
what did
that.
I didn't
DC do
watch it.
Static Shock with Michael B. Jordan?
What
What I'm saying, and that's what I'm getting at, y'all.
they doing the
DC
Static Shock with
DC
Michael B.
has a
Jordan?
direction.
There's rumors.
DC has a lineup that has a flow for right now. Like the next movie, the next TV show is going to be Lanterns. You know who's going to be in that? Green Lantern. All three of them. The one you saw in Superman, the Black Green Lantern, John Stewart, first live action Black Green Lantern, and the original one. They're connecting it together as this. Marvel was doing this until Tony Stark quit. Until Robert Downey Jr. stopped and said, I'm done. Until Chris Hemsworth said, hey, I don't want to be Thor anymore. I'm going through something right now. Let me stop. That's why they kind of tried to make Natalie Portman Thor. That did not work. Captain Marvel was a hit, but the Marvels was not. Disney, I hate to use this term, but this is the term they use. Disney started getting quote unquote woke. Not in the sense of what people use it for. They started just reaching and grabbing at everything. And it started being very colluded. But I enjoyed Fantastic Four. Now, the issue they're going
I
to run
enjoyed
into,
Deadpool versus Wolverine as well.
there you go. And that's another movie that even Ryan Reynolds said, I don't know when I'm back on screen because I didn't sign on to nothing else after this. It's like they giving you something and then it's like, okay, we did that. Y'all like that, right? Okay. And then they move on to something else. It's like, okay, so where we going from that? Oh, we'll have the next Deadpool movie in 3
So
years.
we're not saying that Marvel hasn't been doing well. We're saying we don't know where they're going.
Brother, when you watch that first Tony Stark movie, every movie after that led to Avengers. Every movie after that led to Civil War. Every movie after that led to Infinity War. Every movie after that led to Endgame. When Endgame ended, it was like, all right, now what do we do? Well, let's do this, and this. Then let's not forget, they had to get rid of a whole entire universe. with Jonathan Majors. So you know they don't know what the hell they doing. Am I right? They had the whole ants will rule the world shit. He was fighting Kane, and now Kane gone, completely wiped.
I
Throw
mean,
it in the
I'm just
trash.
saying, just because the chapter closed of like chronological, like, you know what I'm saying, universes, like, I don't think that means they're not going to continue to be successful and make great movies. And I think even though some of the movie releases they have been siloed, it's still enough to bring people into the movie theater to watch the movie. So, I mean, once you close the chapter of the Avengers, I mean, you got to move on. I mean, it was a great time. We enjoyed it, but I don't
Did you
see,
see?
I
Did you
wouldn't
see?
chastise them for moving,
Did you see
forward. And I would
Thunderbolts?
say on the other hand, DC, I feel like they had that opportunity earlier on as well. And they didn't do that chronological universe. They didn't tie things in earlier on when they were making their Batmans and making their, Superman versus all this other stuff that they were making.
Yeah,
And
they
so
did. They
now
didn't.
maybe they're trying to do that, but
They are.
it's just the it wasn't there. The power wasn't there.
Talking about
And I like I said,
talking about in
I
the
think
past or now? Now the power is
in the
there.
past,
In the past, no, it
yeah, in
wasn't.
the past,
Now the
yeah,
power is there.
like
They had to do a hard reset. But and I think Marvel. But what I'm getting at now is DC. I believe, and I'm not gonna say I'm not picking. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. I watched Fantastic Four last night. Thought it was an excellent movie. But DC, I believe, just watching these last how they've been moving, they have a plan. James Gunn has set out the plan for the next 5 movies. He even said, I think I told Anthony, he wants to do 2 movies a year, a movie a year, and 2 shows a year. That's a plan. He's saying, look, we're gonna get this thing. Like, I'm not finna sit here and have us going gaps. We finna belly up and get this thing rolling. Marvel on the other side,
he's
again,
taking what worked with Marvel and he doing it with them. I mean, I don't blame him.
and what I'm getting at too is with Marvel now,
That formula.
when they introduced Tony Stark, when they introduced Robert Downey Jr., after they got rid of Jonathan Majors, because we can all admit Jonathan Majors is supposed to be the main villain, correct? They got rid of him. They fired him. So they said, damn it, okay, we just got rid of Kane. We were hoping to have Kane for the next 2 to 3 years. Because the next movie was literally called Avengers, The Kane Wars. They killed it. Now they said, damn it, okay, we're going to bring in Dr. Doom. Well, who do we want to cast for Dr. Doom? Okay, well, it's a whole bunch of actors they could have went with. They could have went younger. But what they do, they went and got Robert Downey Jr. Now, why would you go get your biggest hero and then turn him into your villain? Now that, I ain't gonna lie, I thought that was like a money grab plea for help. How did you feel about that, guys?
About what?
How they went and got Robert Downey Jr., who played Iron Man, their biggest hero, to now go play Doctor Doom as a villain. That's like if Batman said, you know what, we got Christian Bale.
It's a money grab.
Exactly. That's why I say they don't have no direction. They just looking at a money grab.
I mean, to be honest, the way I felt about that is since you deleted Iron Man, and this is the weird thing for me with it. It's like Robert Downey Jr., if you didn't want to be in the Marvel universe anymore, and i.e., we kill off Iron Man, like, why would you come back in another capacity? So I feel like
Bread.
they may go off script. If they go off script and somehow, and this is just like totally off script, and if they somehow tie in the fact that Iron Man died and became Doctor Doom somehow, I would be very interested to see how that works. I mean, that's not how it's been done in anything ever. But I mean, because for me, I'm with you. It does not make sense to bring Robert Downey Jr., who was the staple Iron Man throughout his series and the Avengers series, and you bring him back as
a
Doomsday.
whole
Like,
different character. Yeah, a whole different character.
yeah, so to me, it seems like, bro, like these people have done this for so long. There's no way they would just cop out like that. So maybe they gonna do some shit to
Well,
where this shit is just,
and
and it
Jalen,
may be one of them things to where they said, boom, Robert, this was your last thing to do for us. Fake these niggas out and think that you're gonna be Doomsday. And when this nigga come out, it's gonna be one of the biggest fucking reveals ever in Marvel. I would not be surprised. And if that happens, you heard it here first. But you know what I'm saying? Like otherwise, I'm kind of with you on that. I don't know why they
Well,
would
so
bring
Jalen,
Robert
this is my
Downey back
thing.
in
I
that
get you. I
capacity.
get you, Jalen. I'm on your team. The big reveal would have been absolutely mind blowing. I just don't get why they revealed he was Doctor Doom a year before the movie comes out. Like, bro, if they would have held that until like imagine, bro, you watching Doomsday and you see him rip his mask and it's Robert. I would have lost my mind in the theater. But now that they done told me a
Mm-hmm.
year in advance, that's why I'm asking these questions. Like, bro, what we doing? Why are you telling me a
Exactly.
year in advance? You know, y'all had all this pressure when
Exactly.
Jonathan Majors was on court. You know, he was in court for the trial. Y'all X'd him, and y'all's next move was, okay, we're gonna bring Robert Downey Jr. back as Doctor Doom. I'm like, bro, why y'all didn't hold that? And then now what's coming out of the camp is that Anthony gonna laugh at this. They basically haven't finished the movie yet. They're filming it and writing it as they go. What? Dude, you know what, and this is what Marvel, they too cute. They too cute for their own good. You know, the dude who wrote Fantastic Four did not know how Thunderbolts ended. So when they asked him why did Joe ending contradict what happened in Thunderbolts, he was like, "What you mean? How did Thunderbolts end?" And they looked at him and they said, "So you don't know how the movie that was leading up to your movie ended?" And he was like, "Nah." And look, Thunderbolts it's called the New Avengers. So are they gonna be the New Avengers? I don't know. But I will say
I
this:
hope not.
it's a very exciting time for superhero movies. I don't think you're gonna see too many billion-dollar superhero movies anymore. I mean, I'm just be honest with you. I don't think Fantastic Four are gonna make $1 billion. I do think there is superhero fatigue. And because of that, I am giving DC a little bit of an advantage because of the way they are going about telling these individual
Because you a
stories.
super fan.
Oh no, dude, I ain't gonna lie, I love Fantastic Four. I hated the villains. Have y'all all seen Fantastic Four?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Bro, have
Yeah,
you seen it,
I
Jalen?
seen the original one.
Have you seen the
Hmm.
new one? Bro, I ain't gonna lie. The part I hated
Yeah.
about that movie the most is that movie is 2 hours long and Silver Surfer and Galactus are on that screen for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. For
I
me, I
mean,
didn't know. Yeah.
I learned more about Silver Surfer from Johnny Storm than I learned about her from herself. That bitch was just flying around on a surfboard.
Yeah. They told backstory and stuff. But I also felt like, you know what I'm saying, maybe it's them trying to redo Fantastic Four, and this is to be treated more of the origin story, especially how it started off, where they kind of went, present and then past and stuff like that. I'm like, maybe this is more of an origin type
But
deal.
how? My
But
question for you is, Jayla, how are they gonna connect that? Because the Fantastic Four in the movie we saw takes place like in the '60s or '70s. It's like that kind
hmm
of theme movie. How are they gonna
hmm
connect them? Because the next movie is Doomsday, right?
hmm
How are they gonna connect them? Like with the
Yep.
way Thunderbolts ended, because
Because
Thunderbolts
you
is
got, mhm.
Thunderbolts is happening in present day. How are they gonna connect them? That's the only part that's getting me is how they
Well,
gonna
see,
connect.
it's gonna be pretty easy for them to do that, especially since within this one they introduced the concept of transportation. So they definitely are probably okay. The next step was, of course, time traveling and then blah 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 blah. But hitting back on the villain parts, like that was one big part for me. I was super interested as to how they were gonna portray Galactus, seeing as he is on the scale that he's on. So I think part of that was not showing him so much in the movie. Having them leave Earth and go to him for majority of the first confrontation, which was partly a confrontation. Um, it was more so that type of stuff for me. Like a part of the actions of the movie where y'all flying through like an asteroid field and like bullshit like that. Like, no, I want to see like Mr. Fantastic use his powers because like, I want to see how
Yeah,
they really like test his powers out. No, the most we saw him get tested out as far as his powers was when Galactus had him by his arms and
Stretched.
legs and was stretching his body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't get to see so much. You know what I
Like
mean? So
Arcane, like
I did want to
as
see like,
Arcane would say, that movie, them fight scenes in that movie was a bunch of running and jumping. It wasn't really no fighting at
essentially,
all. Like when you think about Superman and you just
essentially.
think about how Lex Luthor was a dynamic from the very beginning of that movie to the very end, and you just think about like what you said, you get so hyped for Galactus. He ain't shoot no laser beams. He ain't do none of the stuff that he be doing when he be getting on your ass in Marvel vs. Capcom. He just was walking through the city saying, "Let me get this baby," and that was it.
Yeah, but some people did pose a good theory is that since he, when Richard was looking at him, he only had eight, like I think like four planets at the time he counted out or something like that. And so he was still in the feeding mode, you know what I'm saying? And he's weakest when he needs to feed. So that's kind of why he was at a reduced size. That's why he was kind of like, moving slow or all this other type of stuff, which, you know, I guess that kind of made sense, but for me, it was also the fact which Sue Storm does in the comics turn out to be the strongest Fantastic Four member and everything like that. But for that to happen at this particular time and that be the reason that they were able to like overcome Galactus, it's kind of like, eh. But I
You,
mean, at the same time, what you gonna do? You know what I
you,
mean?
you
What
also,
would the Fantastic Four have realistically done to stop this dude at full power?
how do y'all feel about how they portrayed the characters? Because in Fantastic Four, at no point
And
do
what?
they call him the
Oh,
Thing.
Fantastic Four.
At no point do they say, Flame On. They call him Johnny. They call him Ben. They don't even call Reed Richards Mr. Fantastic. They call him Reed.
Mm,
They did a whole
yeah.
entire stripping of what we originally knew for the Fantastic Four, and they made them people. Now,
Mm,
I ain't gonna lie, I really did like that. But like Jalen said, at the end of the day, this is a superhero movie. This ain't Johnson's Family Vacation. You got to give us a little bit, even if it is a prequel or a setup for the next movie. That's the only reason why I gave it a
mm.
7.5 out of 10. And I ain't gonna lie, like I told,
Especially if you're gonna gut the characters, like
yes,
especially if
yeah,
you're gonna take out Pedro, especially if you're gonna take out, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, definitely.
And I say this, and I said like I said last year, how Superman was so important for DC. They got to get Doomsday right if you Marvel. Doctor Doom is currently the biggest villain in Marvel at this moment. He has had
Mm,
minimal screen time across those two movies. He was absolutely atrocious. They got to get Doctor Doom right because if they don't get Doomsday right, everything is wrecked. Because you can't sit there and say, well, Doomsday sucked. Who do we grab next? Who's the next big Marvel villain? Do we just say, hey, you know what? Doomsday was terrible. We just gonna start X-Men. Magneto. Boom. Let's go. Like,
I was just thinking, man.
so I mean, to answer Anthony's question, I think this is a very healthy time to be a superhero fan, cautiously healthy, because you have options. You don't just got to get Disney Plus and watch Marvel. You don't have to just get DC with HBO Max and watch DC. I think the direction of the franchise is letting you have balance, is letting you not have to just sit there and wait for the next whatever Avengers movie. You can go watch, Penguin. You can watch Peacemaker, and it won't be wasting your time. It'll actually be decent. And so I'm glad to see that superhero movies aren't dead yet, because they was almost dead. Fantastic Four and Superman kept them alive for now because they was almost
Well,
dead.
to be fair, movies in general was almost dead. You know, the movies are at a point now where they're just not as popular as they used to be in general, I feel. So,
Oh,
everything gonna
oh,
kind
oh,
of
we
feel
know,
the pain.
Jalen. I got beef with a certain movie theater in Vicksburg because we was supposed to have a theater by July. Hey, man, where it at? Point them out.
That
Point them
now if I
out.
tell them, hey, go to 1 hour 58 minutes and watch this, then
Point
what?
them out. Hey, bro, if that get a theater in the city, cause it's a crime, and I ain't gonna lie, and I hate to crash out. It's a crime that I gotta drive 45 minutes to see a movie, but I'm gonna do it cause Pearl is worth it. The Pearl, like I was telling Jalen, that deal they give you in Pearl, where you can get 20% off concessions, you get a free movie every month for 10.99. That's hard to beat, pimping, and that might be worth 45 minutes on a Tuesday to get a damn near free movie to see.
Hey,
But it just
hey,
don't make no
hey,
sense.
chill
Like
out.
it don't make no
Chill out, Willie.
sense.
They ain't a sponsor yet, bro.
Hey, they gonna come.
They
Cinemark.
ain't a sponsor.
I'm a movie awards member, baby. Cinemark, come hit us up. But look, like I said, bro, it's a damn shame that you got a town that got 40,000 people around it, and we ain't got a movie theater. Let's fix that. Let's fix that.
Rest in peace, Robert Walker, Vicksburg, Mississippi's first black mayor.
1988 to 2001, 13 years as mayor. Who knows what would have happened if he would have beat Lawrence Lyons? Maybe the city would be in a better situation. Don't make me rep too hard on the city,
Whatever
bro.
happened to Lawrence Lyons?
He went on, bro.
I looked them up.
Alright.
Once.
Hey, but I will say this,
2
man.
hours in.
Milano's, bro. I saw a sign outside Milano's. They got a new Italian restaurant coming to the town. Maybe they won't run off in the middle of the night. We gotta support our small towns. We gotta support our towns that have strong. I'm gonna use this word instead of what I was gonna say. That have strong diversity. That show that both that different demographics of people can be successful. There is a cesspool for sure, but there are successful people of different demographics. It's really a good thing to see, but it's up to us young guns to keep that blendedness going of progressiveness. Progressiveness to that's the only way we're gonna be able to make it. If it gets too one-sided either way, so we gotta keep it progressive. We gotta keep it moving, man. Hey man, shout out that. Hey, also shout out to BMW, bro. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see me in the city. Y'all know who I am. Hey,
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
see.
And for y'all Texas boys, I will be seeing y'all very soon. Do not be scared.
All right, bro. Pull up,
Okay,
bro.
man. I sure been meaning to ask you when you coming back out.
Hey, bro. I think
Jay, when you coming to Austin?
Man, y'all gotta just send me an invite, man. I was
no.
about
Hey,
ready
man.
last
Forget coming to Austin. Look. You might have to cut this off. Jay gonna meet me in Vicksburg. He gonna park his car at my house. We slide in the stay out. We having the stay out for so long summer 2019 reunion. We hit him big D.
You ain't ready for that.
We hit him big
You ain't
D,
ready for that.
nigga.
You ain't ready for that.
When we could book it.
Hey, bro. All right.
What about
Dallas,
Houston,
bro. Dallas.
What
Oh,
about Houston?
shit.
Houston.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to Dallas.
What about Houston?
I just
I
came
mean,
from Houston.
hey, I
But,
got a strap, so we can go to Houston.
What if we see old boy in Papados again?
Oh, he gonna have to get his
Hey, let's 5 fouls this thing and then talk about this shit.
Yeah, let's
We
find
have
out.
5 fouls.
yeah, that's fine.
Hey, you can cut that.
Well,